What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Francisco, and today I want to talk to you about a new Beacn product launching today, October 17th. Beacn, of course, the creators of the Beacn microphone, the Beacn Mix, and the Beacn Mix Create. Today, they are launching their Beacn mic stand, and Beacn was kind enough to send me the mic stand for free about a week or so ago for the purposes of this review. Now, they didn't tell me what to say, how to say it, or anything like that. They just said, hey, we've worked with you in the past. Thank you very much. Here's this mic stand. Check it out. Let us know what you think. Put a review out there. I can do that. And so here we are. 9 embargo lifts at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So if you're watching this, hopefully I didn't mess that up. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I believe in myself, and you should believe in me too. Anyways, when we look at mic stands, when I look at mic stands, I look for a couple of things. I look at durability. How well is it built? How does it feel cheap? Does it not feel cheap? I look at how intrusive it is, right? And so if using a mic arm, boom arm, mic stand, whatever you want to call it, is intrusive and blocking my view of key elements, my monitors, right? Or blocking my access to different peripherals that I have to have access to in a moment's notice, then I have a problem with that, right? And just for reference, or just for I guess information's sake, the Beacn mic stand is comparable to that of Elgato's low profile boom arm. This is a low profile style boom arm for your microphone. The other things that I look at, its ability to be articulated or manipulated effortlessly, if you will, with little to no resistance, and just, does it look clean? Does it look good? I mean, I know the looks doesn't really matter because you can only see a small fraction of this, but myself being here, being able to see everything, like, does it mesh well with the rest of my setup? So how did Beacn do with this one? Because this, by the way, is going to cost you $120. All right, so $120 for the Beacn mic stand versus $100 for the Elgato low profile boom arm. There's a $20 difference. It's not that big of a difference, but I'll tell you right now that there's a pretty big difference in performance between the two. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat when I put the Beacn mic stand together is that this mic stand sits higher off my desk than the Elgato low profile boom arm does. And one of the issues I had with the low profile boom arm by Elgato is that if I did not position it correctly, if I didn't, maybe raise one of the top arms up higher and had a half an arm coming up this way into my screen, then it was blocking access to my Stream Deck Plus and my Stream Deck right here. This guy, all right, sits about, I want to say 4, maybe 5 inches off the top of my desk. And I have everything relatively flat. Okay, the bottom arm is nice and straight, and the top arm I just have a slight little angle to it. Okay, and even if I didn't have this kind of an angle on the top arm, I have no restriction, nothing blocking my access to either my Stream Deck Plus or my Stream Deck or my controllers or my PS5 or anything like that. And I really like the fact that this came with the ability to raise it up that much higher, because again, on the Elgato low profile boom arm, we've only got that one option for height. Now, I don't know if this is optional. As a matter of fact, I don't believe that it is, but if it isn't, and they just made it that high to begin with, I think that's an excellent call. Absolutely excellent call. The next big area I like to look into in regards to a boom arm is its articulation, right? And the ease of use, if you will. So this Beacn mic stand has probably some of the smoothest operation I've ever encountered on a microphone arm of sorts, comparable to my Rode PSA 1 Plus. Okay, this is probably one of the smoothest mic arms out there that I've ever used in terms of operation, its articulation, how frictionless it is, and the Beacn mic stand now is rivaling that and equaling it, because when I swivel the top arm, for example, and articulate it, move it around and adjust it, there is literally no resistance whatsoever. Now, you can adjust the resistance because they include a key, a wrench of sorts, right, for you to adjust the tension on the screws at certain key points of the arm. But right now, the way I have it set up, I have the top arm relatively loose, and even then, when I move the top arm, it's very smooth, very frictionless, and it maintains its position. The bottom arm, on the other hand, is where we have a little bit of, not an issue, but a little bit more to deal with, okay? Because if the tension on the top arm is not set correctly, and you start moving the bottom arm around, and if the bottom arm is nice and tight, but the top arm is not tight, then as you move the bottom arm, your top arm will also move along with it and move out of position. But that's not a problem, because once again, you can just simply adjust the tension of the top arm, and that should resolve the problem right then and there. So in terms of operation, I think this thing is fantastic. It's very smooth. Very frictionless and very deliberate and purposeful in its movements, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And not only that, but they have, I'm gonna go ahead and count, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 different points of articulation, or rather 4 different points of tension adjustment. So there's a lot you can do to adjust this Beacn mic stand to move and react to the way that you need it to for your setup, which is awesome. Not as much can be said about the low profile boom arm by Elgato. The low profile boom arm by Elgato just has these plastic knobs that allow you to adjust the tension and manipulate the height of the top arm. And after a few times of having to, twist and turn that thing and tighten and loosen it up, it begins to feel really, really cheap. Whereas with this thing, we don't have knobs to turn, we have screws to tighten and loosen. And I think that creates a much more premium experience than a plastic knob to turn. Now, the other thing that I look into as far as microphone arms, booms, stands, whatever you want to call them again, is cable management. How do these mic arms manage the cables coming from your microphone? Now, if you're an XLR user, you're only going to have your XLR cable. If you're a USB microphone user, depending on what kind of microphone you're using, you're definitely going to have a USB cable. And in some instances, you might even have an aux cord, a 3.5mm cable for your audio routing to your headphone. The Beacn mic arm does this cable management in a very elegant manner, okay? So on the Elgato low profile boom arm, you have magnetically attachable and detachable plates at the tops of the arms, and you can remove them, put your cables in there, put the plate on top, boom, problem solved, done. It looks good, it looks clean, it gets the job done. This is such a first world problem, but I'm gonna say it anyway. After a while, I don't enjoy having to take the plate off, take the cables out, put the new mic in, put the new cables in, and put the plate on. It's kind of like, oh my God, it's an additional layer, it's an additional step in getting everything set up. And I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of like reducing the amount of layers and steps between point A and point B. And that's what the Beacn mic stand accomplishes here, because instead of having the channels built into the top of the arms, they've actually built them into the bottoms. And instead of having plates or anything that you need to remove or detach, they have these plastic, like thick rubber panels, okay, that you just simply tuck your cables into all the way from the top arm through the bottom arm. And at the ends of each of these arms, obviously the panels or the rubber flaps have circular cutouts to allow you to feed your cables in and out of. And I love that. I think it's fantastic because it creates for a clean presentation, just like the Elgato low profile boom arm, but it eliminates a step of having to take something off of it and then reattach back into the actual mic stand itself. Incredibly clean cable management right here, y'all. I mean, you're going to be able to obviously see the cables coming out from the back of the mic and the cables coming out at the junction where the top arm and the bottom arm connect. And then of course, you're going to see some of your cables coming out at the very end of the mic stand where it's going into your PC or whatever it is that you have going on there. So in regards to weight management, the Beacn mic stand does a fantastic job. It's able to support the weight of just about any microphone without any sort of give or any sort of issues with the way that the microphone arms, actuates, turns, or anything like that. I had no issues with the Beacn mic, my SM7B, my Rode PodMic USB, or even with my Lewitt LCT240 Pro with the shock mount and everything included. Weight-wise, you're not going to have any problems. The other thing I want to highlight here that I really love about both the Elgato low-profile boom arm and the Beacn mic stand is its flexibility with the microphone that you're using. So what I mean by that is this. On a traditional boom arm, such as the Rode PSA-1 Plus or the PSA-1 or any of the other L-shaped boom arms that you get, right? If you're using a microphone with a shock mount, for example, like my Lewitt LCT240 right here, you can't make the microphone swivel horizontally at all. You can only go vertical with it, okay? And that's about it. Now, if that's the case, I have to have the microphone aimed at my mouth at a very awkward looking angle. And I'm sure that's gonna work, no problem, but I don't like that. I think it looks kind of funky. Where the Beacn mic stand comes into play with this is that because we have a like ball bearing joint here, or connector for the microphone here at the very end of the mic stand, I'm able to loosen this up and I can turn this thing around all sorts of different ways. If I wanna approach myself this way, I can do this, right? Now, if I'm using something like the Lewitt LCT240 Pro with my shock arm, with my shock mount, Jesus Christ, I can do this with my shock mount or anything like that. It doesn't matter because I can position and manipulate the positioning of the mic in any way, shape, or form that I see fit for my setup, which is great. You can't really do that with a mic stand like this. As great as it is, it has its problems too. We're not all perfect. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, look, in closing, $120, okay? It's a very beautiful finish on a mic stand. It does a great job at what it's supposed to do. I can find very little to no, if any, flaws with this whatsoever. I think it handles cable management beautifully. I love the fact that we don't have to add an extra layer to the process or to that step. I love the fact that we have all these different points of tension adjustment, that we can really get the microphone stand to behave in the manner which we want it to. It supports a lot of different microphones and their weights. It has excellent articulation here at the very end of it to where you can manipulate the microphone whatever way you see fit. And overall, my favorite thing about the Beacn mic stand is its height. It is a low profile boom arm. It's not all in frame, okay? And not only that, I still have access comfortably to all of my peripherals right here. My Stream Deck Plus, my Stream Deck, my PS5, my controllers, and everything else without the mic arm being in the way. If you're shopping for a new mic arm, a new mic stand, a new boom arm for your microphone, the Beacn mic stand is one I would definitely 1000% recommend over a traditional mic stand such as the Rode PSA-1 or the PSA-1 Plus or the other bajillion Amazon branded ones. The Beacn mic stand is the way to go, and I believe that they do have it in white and in black. So hope y'all found this review helpful. It's live now. Go ahead and pick it up. Y'all have a great day. Like and subscribe. Y'all know the drill. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Peace out.